I mean, let's start with your origin story.
hmm
How did you get into games? What games did you play? How
hmm
did it all begin?
For me, I guess it started. I would say the main thing, like, of my competitive career starting was Counter Strike. I was watching, I think it was 2014 Katowice Virtus Pro versus Ninjas in Pajamas back then. And whenever I watched it, at that time, I was injured in football, and I kept getting injuries, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. So when I saw esports, I was like, wow, this is a really cool thing. Like, I can kind of feed my competitive itch while also, like, kind of doing something I enjoy doing. So then ever since then, I like grinded Counter Strike. I think most people know the story of like where I played with, I made it to Vikings with Vikings to Premier. Back then it was Premier, and now it's MDL, or I don't even know what it is now, to be honest.
Yeah.
But basically went from there, went to Mythic, streamed while I was in college because I didn't know if esports was like for sure gonna be my career. Because back then in Counter Strike there wasn't a lot of orgs either, so it was just like really rough overall. And then played really well on Mythic. Then Valorant came out, of course. Grinded since the beta. Joined Complexity early in that with XP3, AGM, Ojai, and Frisco, I think was the roster back then. And did that. Was only there for 3 months. Learned a lot from that experience, honestly. I think I learned a lot of how I was like kind of like a kid back then. I didn't really understand like team things or like what it took to like be a champion essentially. Then yeah, went on free agent teams for like the next year and a half, 2 years ish, and then eventually joined EG when it was funny because wait, no, I forgot about the accrue era, the whole accrue era.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
lord. I joined accrue with it was Guck 107, Pancakes, Neon, and Kempeki. And that was a really like fun time because I was IGLing back then. I was playing Cypher and Killjoy back then. It was like a totally different like era of me. And I enjoyed it. I really realized how good I was as like, I guess like a voice in the team, where I could like voice my opinions and things like that. And then joined EG, where whenever I was in the in between Accrue and EG, John messaged me and was like, "Yo, you looking for a team?" And I'm just like, "I bet, like I'll go try out and stuff." And then yeah, they liked me enough. I switched over to Initiator, which a lot of people know me for Sova now. And yeah, then the rest is pretty much history. Where we went through like the pre-franchising, we did decent, and then we got into franchising. No one thought like me, Ja, or Boosie were gonna stay on the team, and then we stayed on the team. Then grinded through all like the tough hardships, and then we became world champion. And then now, where it's like towards like the more later part of the story, which is me on Lev. Got to play with some great players like Aspas, Mazzino, obviously my current teammates King and Tex, Demon One, Rossi, all that stuff has been like a real experience. And yeah, and I've enjoyed my time here. Obviously, we won Americas last year, got top 3 champs. Still trying, looking for champs this year, as our split has been pretty rough overall. But yeah, super excited.
What about even before the Counter Strike? Like as a kid, did
Mm.
you play games and did you know like, oh, I really love games. I want to be, like I want to be the best at this. Was there any experience like that?
I guess kind of Minecraft because I did play Minecraft before, and I
Okay.
used to play like whatchamacallit, Hunger Games with my friends. There was even one time I went over to my friend's house for like a sleepover to play Minecraft and stuff, and then he pushed me off into a ravine in Minecraft Hunger Games. We were the final two, and I got pissed off and I left home. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm pissed. So maybe that's where all my competitive juices came from. But
It's that very moment, a ravine in Minecraft.
You
yeah.
mentioned something that was interesting about, being young and playing and then kind of learning what it takes to be like a champion and to play
Mhm.
professionally. What were some of those differences? Like if you could go back and tell, younger self you some tips or some things that you learned, what would those be?
Um, I think the thing for me has been like give criticism, but give it in a way that also brings up like the people around you. Um, it is very necessary to like whether I get it's a competitive environment and the things you can be very direct with things, but I think there's always a way to say it the right way to where it's delivered the right way to the other person and they learn from it. I think also for me back then, I wasn't very good at delivering like criticism. I wasn't very good at like you know, like I would say things, but because
Yeah.
I was so like, I guess passionate or competitive driven, like sometimes it wouldn't come out the right way. So I had to learn a lot like in that way. And then also like I guess developing myself in my emotions to like cater to other people as well to make them better and not like just let my emotions kind of like fly out, sort of like that. And I learned a lot from that, from like complexity, a crew, like a lot of those things where again I was just a kid back then and I didn't know better, but then I learned and got better from it.
That happened somewhat quickly, it seemed, right?
Hmm.
Because the span of all those teams that you said were probably 2 years.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy. I think, like, a lot of players, they don't understand how much you need that emotional intelligence to be good at games, right? Especially on
Yeah.
a team. They're just grinding rank, grinding rank. I'm gonna get the best aim, I'm gonna pop heads off, but they don't understand that you need to be able to take criticism and give it, right?
Yeah,
Are
I
you
agree.
are you finding it significantly easier now on your current team versus previous teams, or is it, like, is it still evolving basically?
Yeah. I think it's gotten a lot better. It was especially like I learned a lot from like Potter, Ethan back in the EG era, and I feel like in a way it's come full circle for myself because I feel like in this team that's something I had to also like I guess teach in some ways, but they would also help me and like the way they want to like receive criticism and stuff like that, which helps a lot. So I think I think it's like all those things kind of like combined.
Yeah. That's tough. I imagine there's some like learning curve in the beginning with new teammates and stuff where exactly that, like you mentioned, you have to kind of learn. Not everyone likes to receive criticism the same
Yeah.
way, right? And like think about that from like a management level when I would tell, folks on our team at Aimlabs, like it's not about like being a manager where you force the team to adapt to you. It's
Mm,
like a good leader or manager adapts their communication style to everybody else. Like you take the
yeah.
time to learn it and figure it out and be like,
Mm,
oh, this person needs this. This is what they kind of need. It's much harder to do, but I think that's the right way to do it and much more impactful.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
agree, 100%.
So what's a day in the life when you're in LA like for
Mhm.
you?
Right now, at least it's been I wake up and I go eat, do my regular stuff in the morning, and then basically I go to the office, I play like a rink game or two before practice starts. And then we practice for it's been like 6 to 8, 6 to 9 hours that we would practice. And then whenever practice is done, sometimes I would go into like DMs, I would go play ranked, just do like my own individual stuff to try to like just improve in that aspect. And then also like people just like talk and like if they had an idea going into practice, like we talk it out. Obviously we do all of the regular stuff of like theory, scrims, VOD review, all that stuff in between. And then I go home and I watch sports. I'll watch like something like that, just kind of decompress the brain fully and then obviously like uh just enjoy like that little like free time I have.
What other sports do you watch?
Right now it's basketball, so like NBA
Yeah.
playoffs is going on right now, but most of the time it's like football is like my favorite sport because I grew up playing it, and also like I play fancy football with all my friends. I do all like that's how I communicate with all like my old school friends. So yeah, I enjoy football a lot, and like I feel like if whatever happens in esports later, I feel like I could do like be a football coach if I really wanted to, because I feel like I have the brain for it. But that could just be me.
We'll hire you for the. I live outside Cleveland. We'll hire you for the Browns. We could use all the help that we can get.
Hey, y'all got Shador and Dylan
I saw-
Gabriel.
yeah,
I saw that.
yeah. We'll see. Our quarterback position has been cursed for 25 years.
Oh yeah, like 40 different starters since I don't even know how long. Yeah.
I love the pictures of jerseys that you'll see where it's like someone's jersey and they just put masking tape over the name, but then it's
Yeah.
like 22 things of masking tape with different quarterbacks name on them, which is pretty brutal. So, are you a Lakers fan? If, spending time in LA, did it turn you into like a Lakers fan?
I wouldn't say spending time in LA turned me into a Lakers fan. It enhanced it for sure, but I really enjoyed like Kobe Bryant a lot back then. I think that's one of like the big things that like kind of gave me the drive. Like he was definitely like an influencing factor in that way, where it's like it drove me to understand like stuff's gonna get hard, but you just have to have like the Mamba mentality overall, and you have to like grit through these hard times. And the best, like I think I saw even a tweet yesterday after the G2 like 100 Thieves game. It was like the pressure creates diamonds and stuff like that, and it's like it's very true. And it's something like definitely in my career I have to deal with like a lot of adversity. Obviously, like a lot of people don't know about like all the adversity that I kind of went through, but it's like I know kind of what I've been through, and like of course like it's created the person that I am today. So I'm always appreciative of like all the adversity. Adversity is a privilege.
Yeah, for sure.
We were just talking. I mean, we'll catch ourselves saying that literally the Kobe thing too, where we'll be like, Kobe wouldn't act like this. Like, there's no way, like, first in the gym, last to leave, like whatever.
Yeah.
We'll be going through problems or something like that. And then it's literally still just like how pervasive that Mamba mentality and that type of work ethic is. If you want to do something no one else has done or achieve greatness, you can't have the same output that everyone else is doing, or they would have achieved it.
100%. I agree.
So you took inspirations from Kobe. What about gaming inspirations? Were there any players throughout your career that you looked up to and you thought like, damn, like I want to be like that,
I would say like a lot kind of, I guess it kind of weaves into what my personality is or gameplay wise and Valorant is. Get Right was definitely one of like the big ones way back when. I'm known as like a lurker in Valorant now and a flanker, so I guess it's kind of full circle in that way. But yeah, I mean, Get Right definitely was one of the people. I enjoyed his passion for the game. Whenever like big rounds would happen, he would get hype and all that stuff. I think it's really cool to see that, and then the other person I would say off the top of my head is Tarek, just because back in CS I would replicate a lot of like my gameplay off him, where it'd be like spraying and like crouch spraying and moving and stuff like that, and just like the personality he gave off on stream of like a fun personality where everyone is kind of like gravitated towards it. I enjoyed a lot of that. So I think those are the two like gameplay and personality wise, I kind of enjoyed like and idolized, I guess, in CS.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think a lot of the players that I gravitated towards too kind of had that personality, right? Like a welcoming personality. You can joke around with them, but at the same time, they're working hard, right?
I think it's like a similarity thing where it's like I see someone that I identify with, or kind of like when you mentioned the personality aspect of it where it's kind of like, oh, do you enjoy that personality because you think it's like similar to you, or kind of the opposite? Like I always wonder that with like UFC and mixed martial artists and stuff like that, where like people will be like, oh, I like this person. I'm like, man, that person is such an asshole. Like
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's like those like online quizzes. It's like, what Star Wars character are you? Is it like the same thing of like your answer for like what?
Yeah,
I think
so.
You looked up to? I think so, because like even when I receive like, because my dad sometimes when he plays Val like receives messages like, oh, your son is like my idol and stuff like that, and I think it's like very I think it is like that, to be honest, like where people, because like they look at my personality and they are very similar to it, so they enjoy like watching me, because I'm very wholesome. Like I enjoy like being like an old man almost, like the way my views are, whereas like some people might idolize Busio, and Busio is like talking trash the whole time, getting in people's faces, it's like totally different. But I think it does, honestly. Like I think it is a very like, I'm a fan of you because I'm very similar to you and I enjoy you, and I think it's
Yeah.
cool, like I can like impact even like the younger generation in that way.
You talked about your dad playing Valorant.
We don't hear that every day.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah,
of the time
true.
when we're doing
That's the
pros.
first time that I've heard it.
Yeah.
But what was that? What's that like for him, or even your parents in general? Were they
Mhm.
always supportive of your gaming career? Was there ever a point where they're like, "Hey, Corbin, it's time to hang it up," like get a real job and things like that? Because this is all somewhat new, I would say, being a professional esports player, right? And like
Yeah.
going down this path. But yeah, what were they like growing up? And if they were not approved, like they didn't approve of it, what switched it?
I would say for sure it was definitely hard for them at the start because like first in Counter-Strike, like that was like my first love, right? And that definitely wasn't gonna work out more than likely. It was just hard with the ecosystem that was happening there. Um, but whenever I got to Val, I think whenever I got to Val and they saw like I had a big chance, I was getting a lot of viewers back then on Twitch too. And then I got my first pro contract. They kind of realized like, okay, let's give him this chance of like to like kind of prove himself. And honestly, like that's something I enjoy, like having something to prove and having a chip on your shoulder is like the best thing ever. And I think that's when they fully started supporting it. I would say before I understand like being skeptical and like not like fully supporting it because I was going to like Texas A&M at the time and doing like my thing there. But whenever I was like, okay, just give me like 6 months, ended up being like a year. But give me 6 months to figure it out. I'll make it happen. They trusted me. They gave me a shot, and then and then I created this whole like I guess esports pro career. So and then obviously I think as I've progressed more, my dad became more interested because it's like your son, your son is like
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
games and becoming like a huge thing in this, and then it's like for him it's like having sports for a longer amount of time for him, right? Because they enjoyed watching me play sports, and when I like left sports like my sophomore year of high school, they were like, man, like I don't know like how we're gonna feed this competitive itch because they were sports players in high school and stuff too. And then yeah, I became a esports pro and now they get more years.
Did your dad play games, beforehand, or was it like because of your success he was kind of more influenced to pick up playing games?
I think it was because of the success in a way, but also as I started getting more and more into it, he became more and more into it. And then like he got his like first PC and stuff, and I'm like, what is happening? Like he's full on going for it. And now he plays, and the things they would get mad at me for like slamming my mouse when I was a kid and stuff. I hear my dad slamming his mouse and stuff, and I'm like, yep, now you get it. Now you get what I was going through.
Does he ever hit you up and like, hey, you want a duo right now? Or
He'll ask if he could play like DMs with me and stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
and then every time he gets me, he says some corny dad joke after, and I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I'll play game. I have 3 kids, but 2 of them that are old enough to play games, and it is like just I don't even care what they want to play. Like just that like we get to play together is awesome. I played so many like really crappy Roblox. They're not even games in Roblox, right? They'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Dad, let's play this game," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. You want to play games with me?" And it's like you just like take an elevator up, and it just shows you a random like crappy graphics or something like that, and then it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you do? They're like, what do you mean? What do you do? Is this a game? This is like you just like get back in the elevator and it like does some other random thing.
Yeah.
But it's the greatest thing in the world. Like it's
Yeah.
super fun.
I agree. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy them just being involved too. Like even on Twitter and stuff. It's funny.
So do they show up? They show up on Twitter and like would they be defensive? Do they come in to any of the live events too? They come in like the cheering
Uh,
section, banners and shirts and
not the haters. I don't think they're that extroverted, but my dad sometimes on Twitter like it puts his input on like Valorant problems that are happening, and I'm just like, all right, Dad, like, all right, good for you. And then my mom is just like supportive, like. I think my parents want to say things to certain posts,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
tell them like it's okay. Like haters is part of it, like you have to, like having haters is honestly a privilege as well because it means you're doing something right, at the end
Yeah.
of the day. So, and then when it goes to live events, yeah, they've come to some. Whenever it's VCT Americas, we tend to lose every time they're there. Apparently, that's what they've told me. But whenever they come to international events, the last couple, they've been there and they've enjoyed it, and we've placed pretty high, so they get to see me like enjoying like the myself on like the biggest stage. So yeah, that's cool.
How do you deal with that? Like the haters, and there's just a tremendous amount of pressure already playing
Mhm,
professionally, right? And then you add in this layer of social media where people
mhm.
can just say whatever the fuck they want to
Yeah.
you, directly to you. How do you deal with stuff like that?
Um, To be honest, like I would say early EG it affected me for sure. And I would say even early Lev it affected me a little bit just because it's such a new environment. I'm trying to like respond to a lot of things. But I think at the end of the day, like I enjoy it just because it makes me put a chip on my shoulder even more to like prove people wrong. It's just more people that like think about it. Like the early EG to the end of EG. I went from like one of the worst players to like the best initiator in the world. How good that feels for me,
Yeah.
just to like prove
Yeah.
people wrong and stuff.
Yeah.
And same with Lev last year. Like it was like people were not very happy with me and stuff like that, right? But by the end of it, it was like, okay, he's a top 3 initiator again in the world. So it's like whenever things like that happens, it feels very nice for me, just because I work so hard to like put forth my best performance, and no matter what, like I enjoy it just cuz like having it again, like having hate is kind of like I think it's a privilege as well because it just makes you push harder and just prove everyone wrong. It puts more of a chip on your shoulder every time.
Yeah.
yeah. Fueled by spite.
Yeah.
A
In
little
some
bit.
ways, it does. Yeah, yeah. For sure. Because it gives you. I think I'm a similar way. I have a lot of people that we talk to are a similar way. Where like, tell me I can't do something. Okay, like watch me. Like, and use
Yeah.
that because you don't want those people to be right.
Uh-huh.
You're just like, there's no
100%.
way I'm gonna allow this to be true. And I'm gonna kind of show you.
Yeah.
How
100%.
did you go from, like you were saying, not performing too well to being the best initiator in the world? Were you doing anything specifically, or was it just playing a lot of the game? What happened there?
Mm, I think it was more the confidence I had in myself because I think I put a lot of pressure on myself the start of the EG year, and because it was my first shot in franchising. I put all that pressure into like myself only, and whenever I make a mistake, I would eat myself up about it.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot more like self damage than anything. And then whenever it came to like I think we were 1-4, and I was like, man, like who cares anymore? Like put forth like the performance you want to put and just have fun. It's basically like I guess I just became more confident in myself and what I was doing. And then whenever that started happening, I started just owning everyone. And then I realized like you don't have to care so much as trust in the work you've put in and just like
Yeah.
put on a show at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like in the NBA when like LeBron tells someone in a slump, like keep shooting,
Yeah.
right? Like keep shooting. Like so what? You went like 0 for 11. Like keep shooting, and then someone drains the game winner, even though they were like cold all game, but in the end they're not,
Yeah. It's all about the perseverance through all of it. So yeah.
for sure.
Have you had to deal with any burnout in your career so far? Because you guys are
Mm,
playing long hours, like you said, 6 to 9 hours. Is that 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week?
6 days a week right now.
Yeah. And then on top
Um,
of that, you said you're playing ranked right? And
Yeah.
it's like ranked might be the most emotionally draining thing that you can possibly do.
True.
But yeah, like, have you ever had to deal with burnout?
Not me personally. Honestly, I don't. I believe in I guess like the hard work is like
Yeah.
will pay off eventually. Just so I guess that mindset for me kind of doesn't let me burn out. I would say like after the season, I'll like feel it and I'll be like, damn, I was feeling that like the whole time and I just didn't realize, But I think nah, I don't really feel it that much. I think all of it comes in after the season, but during the season I'm just so like I guess locked in. Like
Oh,
I
for
don't
sure.
let any distractions really get to me and I just go, you know?
Was that something that was innate, like about you think, or is that something you also had to learn? Like, were you always kind of like that, where like if you found something you were passionate in, football, whatever, you would
Mhm.
just like lock in?
I think for me, it's like if I put my mind to it, I'll always be good at it. No matter what it is. But I think early in esports and even football, honestly, I was pretty lazy. So yeah, I think I did have to learn it because if I wanted the results that I wanted, like I couldn't be lazy. And then I think just seeing the results for myself made me to like only want to work hard and understand like that's what it takes to be successful in like anything I do, honestly.
So for, all the kids that want to be pro players now and, look up to you as you
Uh,
looked up to others, what would you tell, those kids who are like, yeah, I want to play professional Valorant one day. Like are there any, tips, warnings, anything like that you would give them to persuade
uh,
or dissuade them?
uh, I will say Valorant, or maybe not Valorant, but esports in general is one of the hardest industries on you mentally. I think real sports are like they're a lot like physical demand and stuff like that. Not as much like, of course, there is a mental part of it, but it's less mental. But esports, you have to be very strong mentally and have to really have like a backbone at things and do all that. And obviously, you on top of all that, you have to work very hard and understand it takes a long time to be very good. So for the young people, you work very hard, but also understand you need to grow yourself mentally to make it.
Do you think that, let's just say a player is Radiant, Immortal 3 Radiant level,
Mhm.
what advice do you have to them for the next step?
Learn how to play. Ooh, let me think. I think it's just learn how to play uncomfortable in a way because I think there's a lot of people who are like rank stars, right? Who take every risk and they like that risk. But also there's gonna
Mhm.
be a point where you have to play like team Valorant, because I think a lot of these players are very good individually, right?
Yeah.
But understand there's gonna be a time where you have to learn how to play disciplined and use your mechanics, but also use your like brain in some way.
Yeah.
And just you have to be, I guess, happy with the uncomfortability you're going to be put through for that to develop yourself. Because I think a lot of these players are very good individually, right? I think they have some of the best mechanics that I've seen. But it's just about learning the discipline, learning like the communication of the game, learning all that. And I think once some of these players that are very good mechanically do that, they'll all move up. And we've seen some of that with like even players like Burno right now, who's been playing really well with MIBR. Trent was one of the young people that is now playing really well. Those are only people in my role. But like those players have developed to be like very good players as well.
How important do you think it is to be able to play multiple agents or roles? Like you said, when you started your career, you were playing a Sentinel, right? Now
hmm
you're Initiator. How important is that for just the player that wants to go pro?
I think it's pretty important because there's a lot of people that are like one tricking like random agents, that don't really make sense.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like you really have to have that agent pool, especially in the metas now. I guess not so much now because Teo is just taking over
Yeah.
Valorant in general. But I think in the future it's going to be like you have to learn to play multiple agents and have a high game IQ to understand like what's good with that agent, what's bad with that agent, and things like that. Because this game is going to keep adding agents. You're going to have to keep developing your playstyle, and it's going to be never ending. So you have to develop your agent pool all the time.
Do you feel like there's a lot of innovation right now in terms of comp, play style, or do you kind of feel like everyone's sort of playing the same comp, sort of playing the same way, and it's just coming down to these little moments in the rounds?
I think I don't think there's a lot of diversity because Tejo has again taken over the game. I think if I'm honest with the way Valorant is right now, I think even for a spectator, it's probably pretty boring just because it's a constant like post plan. Like if you get the bomb down, the round's over sort of game. And I think it's pretty. It's just yeah. There's not a lot of innovation right now. You can't play different stuff really. It's just all the same really. Um, so I'm hoping like that changes in that way for Valorant. Because I think this is kind of because I play Teo now and I don't play Sova as much because of how the meta has changed.
Yeah.
Where I think with Sova, you can add your own individual flair to it, and you see why they're good, you know? Where Tejo, it's like, it doesn't feel like you can add any flair to it. It's just like, you play the set style, and that's it, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's say then Riot hires you as like you're in charge of Valorant now. How would you fix kind of exactly like the problems that you like? How would you encourage more innovation or swing that balance back so it's not so one agent favored meta?
Yeah. Definitely. Well, as I've already kind of said, nerf Tejo for sure. But also, it's like just make sure there's like a balance because I feel like we're the more and more agents we add, the more post plant util there is, and the more it becomes like not about like how your team is performing like on a overall level, but more so like just abilities are kind of overwhelming, you know. So it was just trying to find that balance and making sure we're not like going too crazy on just overpowering things and just like kind of making sure everything's like at a level to where it requires, which is very hard of course, but it requires all the agents at like just like a middle ground, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. How about in terms of like your own people ask this all the time, like settings or peripherals, your mice or anything like that. How important is it that you keep those things consistent, or you go on the other side, which is more like tens will like swap out a mouse
Yeah.
5 minutes later, just like
or change the settings after one shot.
I see that a lot. For me, I've never changed my sense. I've been on the same sense for a very long time, to be honest. Mice, I recently changed from 2 mice, but honestly, I might go back to my old one just because I'm the other one I was just doing because I wanted to try something new for a year. I've lost this year, so I'm going back. So, but yeah, I mean, all my stuff is usually pretty consistent. I just try to keep it as same as possible. If there's something that's overwhelmingly like this is the best, then I'll switch. But for the most part, I just keep what I have.
Yeah. On game days, what's your routine like?
Right now it's I wake up, I drink water, I start hydrating early in the day. I'll either watch like an anime or I'll watch like I don't know, some random sports event. And then I'll turn on music before going into the office. I'll pack up all my stuff, go to the arena while also just listening to music the whole time. Go to the arena, DM for like an hour or two. Start before the match. Either I do like one of 3 things, to be honest. I either start chewing gum, I'll eat Skittles, or honestly, the last one I rarely do, but I just like chill. I rarely chill, to be honest. And then also whenever we're in the pre-match before like walking out on stage, you'll see me just sprinting up and down the hallways to get my blood flowing.
Yeah.
Do you have like a lot of nerves or anxiety or anything like the day of? Like
I
music
think
and stuff helps. Is that kind of like the strategy, like
you know
in
what's
running,
weird?
especially to get your blood pressure, to get your blood
Yeah.
pumping?
Yeah.
I don't feel I would say the first year I felt nerves, but I don't feel as much nerves as I used to. What's weird is like it's always the first game of like Americas. I'll feel like a little bit of nerves like the first round or two, but
Yeah.
then I don't feel that much after because I'm a very instinctual player and I play off my instincts a lot. And like I just let my instincts ultimately take over, you know.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing like even when we were in like champs like last year or the year before with EG, it was like I don't know why we were in like a stadium full of like 20,000 whatever people, and it's like I don't feel anything. Like I just felt like I'm ready to go. Like I'm ready to just fire up, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I don't.
Have you seen anyone with like weird routines? You have to name any names. But anyway, you're just like, how do they do that before or whatever? When I used to, for a little while, I would fight in mixed martial arts stuff. I mean, it's like 20 years ago, more than I'm old. It was a long time ago. But I never forget there were people I would see, they have to like fight in an hour and they're just like taking a nap on the bench in the, like in the back in the gym or something. I'm like, how are you able to just sleep? There's like, oh yeah, how much time do I have? Good night. They're like, it's like going to sleep, and then they just like wake up. Someone wakes them up, and they're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. The person honestly that I've seen, it's probably why he's so good, honestly, with like routines is Aspas. Aspas, he has like a day before routine, the day of match routine that is always like fully in order, and he knows what to do, and he's had success over like the last like I think it was like 4 years now, 5 years. I don't even
Yeah.
know. But whenever I saw that, I realized like that's something I learned a lot from him is like how to keep a good routine and to like understand that's your like I guess consistency to success that you can control, you know.
Yeah.
And honestly it was really cool just like seeing him even like in between maps you have like stretches I would do, which was really cool. And I was just like honestly, as much as like I guess I was more successful the year before, I learned a lot from him on that level, you know.
What do you think it is about Valorant that the same team can't win over and over?
No dynasty yet.
No dynasty. I don't even think one team has won back-to-back international tournaments, right? It's always a
Fnatic
different
did.
one.
Fnatic
Oh, Fnatic did?
Yeah.
Okay, so outside Fnatic, there hasn't been, right?
No. To answer the question, I think it's just because the meta changes so drastically for the most part from year to year. And there's new people that are getting better, of course. And it's just like it's constant, like not so much innovation, I feel. It's more so like it just changes so much. And whenever you win, and I don't know if this would have happened if EG stayed together and stuff like that one year. But there's so much like different things of how you have to play the game that if you do the same things you did the year before, there's no guarantee it works the same exact way. Obviously, there's fundamental things that work for Valorant, but not all the things are like 100% like success rate, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's interesting to think. That's a really interesting answer to think about, just how quickly, yeah, you get like new agents. You get what you know what I mean? That like the game evolves. You know, and sure, I mean, I don't know, I'm thinking like Harden in basketball, right? Like the step back jumper. And then like all of a sudden everyone's like, oh crap. Or like, you know, now everyone in the NBA went to like small ball, but now my Cavs have Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, like, you know what I mean? Like they're like, actually, we'll have multiple big men.
Yeah.
Right. Just how difficult it is to adapt. It always blows my mind that people from the outside watching games or esports, they just don't understand the level. Like you said, this is likely one of the hardest professions in the world to play at a high level, kind of mentals and everything like that. And it doesn't seem that, you know, people would look at LeBron and they'd be like, oh, that guy's like super skilled. How do you think we can make the world more aware of the talent level, the skill level, the determination that goes into playing games at a high level compared to where it is now. And maybe some storytelling that helps esports kind of break even to another level.
I'm trying to think, because I think the way you have to look at it, because I feel like in a way the teamwork even of like esports is like super hard to like coordinate overall. But I also think like the best way to look at it, it's like it's the hardest mental game. It's like you constantly have to react at like millisecond speeds to like what's happening in the game, or reacting. For example, it's like for Valorant, it's like you see a certain amount of util that's happening on the map, and you have to instantly react on what to do next, and like have your own individual reaction to it. And it's not only just having your own individual reaction, but keeping everyone on the same page on the team of the reaction as well. And it's not only that mentally, but also like it's like confidence in game. Like whenever you miss a shot, like don't lose your confidence, like keep your head on your shoulders and stuff like that. And it's also like whenever, like if crowds happen, like if a whole crowd is against you, like don't let that get to you at all, because you hear it in your mic or whatever. It's like all those things kind of combined are like a big thing of like pressure. And also like I think in a way also esports is one of the most like short-lived, like esports pros are one of the most short-lived jobs, right? So there's so much pressure on each esports player when it goes into each match, because it could define like a career at the end of the day, so it's just like it's like that, all that constantly is kind of what makes esports like one of the hardest jobs, and on top of that, I feel like you have to put in 12 to 13 hours a day at least to just like stay on top of your game,
Why do you think that is, that the careers of the top pros are so short-lived compared to, other kind of traditional sports?
I think it's just like a lot of orgs hunt for like the new talent, to be honest. And whenever older talent kind of like, I guess, moves along, they prioritize more like the younger talent than older. And then also it's like, I don't know, it's like either people move on with life, some people get like super complacent, which I kind of don't understand, but it happens, and then it's also like maybe people crumble under like the pressure of all the stuff I kind of just listed, um I think it's a mix of like a lot of things. I can't really pinpoint one like for sure thing, but
Yeah, it seems like you kind of need this, I don't know, you have to know yourself well enough to know when you're trying or not. And it seems like a lot of people don't really know when they're doing that.
They don't have the self-inspection to be like, oh, I'm not,
like you said, become complacent, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of, even this is a long time ago, but when I was playing Counter-Strike, you would see people playing other games. They'd be playing WoW for like 20 hours or whatever, and you're like, dude, we're playing Counter-Strike on a team, and we're getting paid to do this, and you're doing this.
Yeah. I agree.
Does that make you like, knowing that the careers are short-lived, does it make you kind of plan even when you're in it, of like, okay, well, what do I think I'm going to do in 5 years? What do I think I'm going to do in 10 years? Do you think about that stuff already? Like we heard, our friend King George was talking about how he started streaming earlier because someone basically told him like, look, your esports career is a finite, short amount of time, but streaming can be much longer and you can have a career and make a lot of money, much longer. Other than being a coach in the NFL, what have you thought about what you would do next, if anything, or do you want to break the trend and be like 65 like me, so just crushing kids in Valorant?
I think my first thing is like, honestly, I take it as a challenge because I want to see how far I can really go, and honestly be successful. I'll be like true to myself, and if I'm like 32 and I'm like fucking I'm shooting nothing, like I know I'm like All right, it might be time, but but I'm definitely like I take it as a challenge to see how far I can go and how many. Honestly, I even said it last year. I want to be like the faker of Valorant, or like even like the GOAT of Valorant, because I've achieved a lot in such a short amount of time so far, and I really want to like keep that going. I want to keep like placing really high and just like people seeing me as like someone who just wins. But also I have like in a way made sure like in my future, like because I do want to work in the esports no matter what it is, like later in my life.
Yeah.
And I've said this to my parents, because my parents always ask like, what are you gonna do after esports? Like it's gonna be like tough after esports to like find something. And I always say like I know how hard I work, so no matter what I get into, I know I'll be good at it.
Yep.
Like as long as I put my like head and mind to it, like I know I'll be good at it. So I always believe like I enjoy what I'm doing right now, because this has been like my dream for so long. Um and then after as soon as like I get another opportunity, it's like a new challenge to like kind of like develop myself in life. So yeah.
For a second, I thought you were going to tell your parents, I am esports.
No, no, absolutely not.
I mean, the good news is that, well, Wayne, you're going to have to reshare the stat, but we were talking about reaction time and when it kind of like falls off. And was it 35?
Yeah, for the data we collected, it was like it peaks early 20s, mid 20s, and then it declines a little bit by the mid 30s. But by the time you get my age, it's like it's bad. Might as well switch the controller.
Wait, how old are you right now?
I am 24.
So it peaks when you're 26. I've changed the trajectory a little bit. Don't worry about it.
Wait, so you're 24. So at the very least, you got until 35.
Yeah, for sure.
The next 11 years are planned.
Yeah.
By then, I mean, it's the same thing. I think that's what's awesome about, in wondering, I almost want to see this story play out in esports. You'd like the George Foreman, Randy Couture like story, where you have someone who's like in their 40s becoming heavyweight champion of the world again or something, right? They're just showing, because I think a lot of people, and that's obviously for Aimlabs what made us have success, was people would play games and they would they get frustrated and they would self-diagnose like, well, if my aim was better, I would be better. They don't know that their game sense sucks, their positioning sucks. Like they could have the best aim in the world and like you're not climbing out of bronze the way you're playing, right? Like you're playing absolutely brutal. But it's such a small part of all the other things that kind of matter. So that someone maybe doesn't have the fastest reaction time, but they have so much experience, better strategy, and kind of whatever else that they're just, crushing it and winning again.
Yeah, that's going to be me at 40.
Set my Reddit reminder. I'm trying to do the math in my head. 16 years.
Yeah, 16.
Oh, good.
Remind me, bot. Just remind me. 16 years.
Oh, we asked some of the team members for questions that they would have wanted to ask.
Oh, like community questions?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I think we might have covered.
Actually, yeah, I think we did cover
most of them.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about your training regimen. I don't know. You just said you play ranked and DMs, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything outside of that.
How about any physical stuff or like
health and fitness?
Yeah, is there anything like that like you mentioned some folks doing stretches and stuff like that? Are there anything that you feel helps?
I'm off and on with like when I go to the gym and I run. Like honestly, I have it's more nutrition. Like I'm just making sure to like not eat like so much, because I used to eat a lot, but now I eat like less. And then I also just go to the gym like every so often, like not every so often, but like once or twice a week, I would say. And then I just vibe.
Is it mostly weights or you're running?
It's a mix. Like I like running because running is just like it just feels exhilarating overall. And then I'll just mix in weights here and there.
I have a lot of respect for runners. It's so hard to do. You think it's so easy, but it's ridiculously hard, and it's hard on your body, right?
Yeah. I mean, imagine right now I'm in Texas and it's so hot here, and then I'm just running in this heat, bro.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And I'm bald. I have to like cover my head all the time out in the sun. It like melts me, like catches on fire. It's the worst. No, and the older I get, I don't want to walk, let alone run. So like I find myself doing weights, just lift weights more and
Yeah.
more. Just like, yeah, I can
Okay.
lift heavy things. I'm gonna do that instead of move very quickly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Gotcha.
That's my training regimen. Like picking up the kids, putting them on my back,
Yeah.
dad exercises. Like
Yeah.
that's the
W dad.
that's what-
W dad exercises.
yeah.
I don't know why this just randomly popped into my head because you said you were doing yard work at the beginning. Are you turning into like, do you want to be the best at yard work when you do it now? I don't know how frequently you're doing it because you're not home too often.
No.
But I'll give you an example.
Especially in Texas, though, you're looking at someone's lawn with like the
The
perfect
lines, right? Yeah. Because that's kind of my personality too. I remember when I first moved into my home, and then I'd mow the grass, and I'm like, I'm gonna put those sick lines in this. Like, I'm
Oh
gonna
my
step my
gosh.
game up in this shit. You know? Are you like that too?
I'll say not really. With yard work, I'll be honest. I'm just doing it so it looks good. I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right, looks good. I'm out.
You're not bringing the Mamba mentality to yard work.
No.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
You got married late last year, right?
Yeah, November of last year. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Is your wife traveling with you, like back and forth?
She did for last split. I don't think she will for this next split because she's actively like looking at a job. She's been doing like software and doing all her stuff, whatever. She's looking at me over there. But she's been doing all that, and honestly, I'm just happy to have her as like a support system and all that. So it's nice.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I understand. My wife's the same for me. Like, you know, we've been together now. I don't know. If it feels like longer than we've been apart, which probably mathematically isn't true because, again, I'm old. But it is like it makes every other aspect of like challenges and stuff you go through so much easier, right? To have somebody there that's like your best friend and whatever else is like, you know, my life before and after, and like the amount of obstacles or anything that I feel like I can go through is just different. It's like a different level. Like I feel like I could do so much more, you know, when you have like support through that stuff.
Does she game at all?
She played Overwatch for a little bit.
Okay.
Then she started playing Marvel Rivals, and then she was like, "Oh, I could have went pro," because she saw Sentinels picked up a woman and stuff like that, and she was like, "Oh, I should have went pro. I should have played more." And then I'm like, "Okay, yeah."
You could have taught her how to go pro.
Yeah, she would have had to work really hard for that one.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up on the hour. I don't know if you want to do any shout outs or things like that.
Other than your wife, who's right there, that you had better shout out because she's listening.
Shout out to her. I guess she's all right. I guess shout out to my parents, mom and dad. Shout out to my grandma that might watch this and say I'm well spoken, I guess. And yeah, shout out to Lev for, you know, like supporting me. Obviously, honestly, shout out to EG that started my career ultimately. All that. Shout out. Yeah, I'm just shouting out random people now. So lit.
No, that's awesome. Okay, cool.